Welcome to Coffee Conversations, where we will be talking about different coffees, different parts of life, EDC, and all the other things. So stay tuned. So on this episode of this new series on my channel, I will be reviewing budget coffees that are widely available for everyone. And today we have the classic that I'm sure everybody has probably seen sitting on a shelf in a grocery store, in a Dollar General, wherever you can find coffee, and that is Cafe Bustelo. And now, I may not be saying that right, but this is a more budget-friendly coffee. And, oftentimes I go on the search of, I love my Black Rifles and my small batch blends from house places around the area. But oftentimes I want a good cup of coffee that doesn't have the $14 to $20 a bag price tag for that good cup of coffee. So I've gone on this mission of I'm going to start reviewing, trying to find the best budget coffee. Now, Cafe Bustelo, this is a 10-ounce container, and this was around $5 pre-tax. So not a bad price tag on this coffee. On the back of the tin, it says, Cafe Bustelo is a coffee that has an irresistible aroma and a bold taste. It is a deliciously versatile coffee that can be prepared using your preferred method, drip brewed, cappuccino, espresso, or cold with ice to satisfy all tastes. The best coffee is enjoyed with company. It's produced by the J.M. Smucker Company in Orrville, Ohio. So overall, I think this is a good choice for a budget coffee. So I have a few of the tasting notes. Now, I'm no fancy. I'm not really able to pull out like dark cherry or leather or whatever. You hear people review things and they're pulling out all these flavors from the woodworks. And I'm like, just tastes like coffee to me. So on all of my videos, I plan to drink them out of the same thing 99% of the time. If I'm drinking coffee, it's out of one of these Yeti mugs, and it just works great. It keeps it cold if you want cold coffee, and it keeps it hot for a long time if you want hot coffee. Now, I'm not one of the picky people. I'll drink cold, I'll drink hot, as long as it's not lukewarm or halfway in between cold and warm, I'll drink it. But this morning I have the Cafe Bustelo hot for us, and this is the bottom of the tin for me. So I've had an entire tin to come up with a review for it. So I'm going to rate it on 1 to 10, 10 being the best coffee I've ever drank, 1 being the absolute worst, like dirty sock water I've ever drank. So let's get into it. So Cafe Bustelo, I'm not 100% sure. It does not say what roast it is, but just from the tin note and the tasting notes of the blend, I would assume it's more than likely from the medium to medium dark side. I don't think it's like an absolutely just toasted to all get out dark roast, but it does have some of those darker flavor characteristics. I've got written down here a few of the tasting notes that I noticed in the coffee. It's very rich, it's dark, slightly smoky. It's not overly smoky. And when I say smoky, I don't want you to think something burning smoky. What I want you to think is campfire, very campfire. That's one thing I would very much so, I think, and one of my favorite YouTubers to watch growing up was Suge, and he did a lot of backpacking, and he always had the instant version of Cafe Bustelo to drink after a night of camping. So I don't know if it's that, but I really associate this flavor profile I get with this coffee being a very good camping coffee. It reminds me of a fire, cooking breakfast, cooking some eggs and bacon on the cast iron skillet and drinking you a cup of Cafe Bustelo with that smoky, wood flavor that everything else gets. So slightly smoky. It has an incredible smooth finish. That's one thing I have definitely picked up on. And it's not overly acidic. So really, I think Cafe Bustelo is one of the better options I have tried in the budget coffee category. So as far as a score, with this being the first one I'm doing, I'm going to give it a moderate 7.2. Give it a 7.2. It's a really good coffee. Not the best I've ever had. Not the worst. But for $5 for this 10, you're really not going to beat, at least out of the ones I've tried, this coffee. So 7.2 on the Cafe Bustelo. And this is the espresso ground coffee. This is not the instant coffee. This is the actual ground. And I have tried it both cold and hot. In my honest opinion, I think this coffee best serves cold. I think it's a phenomenal coffee. Oftentimes I'll brew it up and I'll stick it right in the fridge, the entire pot's worth, to sip on cold the next few hours. That's typically me and my wife. We drink a lot of coffee. So in the mornings, if I noticed after pouring her a cup, after filling up my mug, and if I've had a cup or two, if there's any coffee left, I'll just pour it in a mug and throw it in the freezer, throw it in the fridge just to cool down for later in the day when I'm home from work. I can have me another cup of coffee, and I think the flavor profile of this cold is just as good, if not better, than the hot coffee. So Cafe Bustelo, as a budget coffee, I think it's a phenomenal option, and 7.2 out of 10. So really good for $5 for this container. You really can't complain about that. One thing I wanted to talk to y'all today about in this coffee conversations, we're talking about coffee, we're talking about life, we're talking about things that interest me. So one thing I really wanted to talk about this morning is making the little moments count. So here in Georgia yesterday, well, actually the whole past week, it's been dry as all get out the month of July. And the past week, we've probably had more rain than we've had in the state of Georgia, in my area, in probably 3 months. Well, yesterday after naps, after church, me and my wife noticed it was raining, and we went outside and we were playing with my daughter, and it was one of those moments where it was like, I really don't want to go out in the rain and get wet. It was actually kind of chilly once you got out in the rain, but I wanted to take that moment to soak in a sweet moment with my 2.5-year-old daughter. So me and my 2.5-year-old daughter went to the bottom of my driveway where a big puddle had formed, and we just stood there and played and played and played in the rain before dinner yesterday for probably 30 minutes. And really, that was one of the highlights of my day, was getting to spend that little bit of time with my daughter, just innocently playing out in the rain, not caring about getting cold and wet, throwing rocks into a big puddle on one of the ditches on the side of my driveway. And it really made me start thinking, how often as parents and as people in general do we miss the little moments looking for the bigger ones? All too often, we're looking for the grandeur view, if you will, instead of keeping your mind on the little things that matter and that really will be the big things in the end. I can't help but think of the analogy of going on a road trip up to the North Georgia mountains, and you're having a good time, conversations, fun in the car. You may be playing some car games, whatever it may be. And then you're just so focused on getting there, you may miss out on the good quality family time or time with friends that happens in the car on your way there. So really just this emphasis on making the little moments count, I think is so important for us today in this world where it's go, 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 go. We have so much technology pushed in our face. I mean, shoot, I'm making a video here for y'all to be watched on technology. Is it a bad thing? No, but we need to make sure we're taking time and spending it wisely with family and friends and soaking in those little moments, soaking in those playing in the rain moments where it may be just 30 minutes of you doing something you enjoy, sitting down with a friend, calling your mom or dad, taking 30 minutes out of your day when you get home to play with your kids, spending 30 minutes alone with your wife, just talking. But make the little moments count. And oftentimes, those little moments might be shared over a cup of coffee. So, tune back in for the next Coffee Conversations video, where I will be reviewing another budget coffee or just talking to y'all. So, tune in next time for more Coffee Conversations. Thank y'all. Have a great day.